Hey, you knuckleheads, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the War Report. We hope you are safe. We hope you're wearing masks, social distancing, all that. Of course, watching wrestling on Wednesday nights. I'm your host, Murjani, always joined by Cyrus. Cyrus, Florida. You want you want to you want to say a few words? Because I hope you're safe down there.
I don't want to talk about it. For the most part, I'll say I'm staying my ass inside.
Well, that's good. That's always a good.
If I do go outside, I don't go past my driveway. That's it, man. A lot of niggas. A lot of people out there that are bullshitting and doing their thing. I see you. And if you want to see me, you won't. A lot of people are just like, oh, man, I can't wait till we hang out again. And then I go on Instagram and I see them, outside, out and about. And I was just like, nope, I won't see you anytime soon, partner.
Yeah, this pandemic has me looking at a lot of people differently. And, I have some friends who are doing the right thing. They're social distancing. They're wearing masks. They're not really going to pool parties and stuff. And then I have some friends that I see on IG who not only are going to pool parties, they're having house parties. They're having people over. And I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, I know it sucks. I know we just had, 4th of July weekend. I knew everybody was going to go out. I knew that. Like, I was just like, okay. And New Jersey opened up slightly. For some reason, we opened up like amusement parks and on the second. I saw that. And I'm like, what are you doing? And as soon as that happened, now we have a outdoor mask mandate, and we had to roll back going into phases. I knew that was going to happen.
And at least your state is going back into phases because this governor said, hey, man, if you can go to Walmart, Home Depot, these kids can go to school for 7 hours. And I saw that this morning, and I just said, yeah, we're fucked. Down here, we are completely fucked. And I can't leave, so.
Yeah, you guys are looking like The Stand from Stephen King, huh? Also, with that quote is like, how long are you staying in Walmart or Home Depot? Like, are you just chilling at Home Depot, like next to like, you know what? Let me get a door made, and like wait for 6 hours for that to be. I'm like, what? How do you equate that to staying in school for 6 hours? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And you know what? A lot of people feel there's a lot of people more than just him that feels that way, and I think it's completely ridiculous. But Florida right now is the Wild West. I'm just glad my job isn't doing anything stupid to make people come back or anything like that. So
yeah,
right now I'm good.
Stay safe, sheesh. For purpose of that, we're here to be an escape from all the madness and all the Last of Us 2-ness that's happening outside of your world. Hopefully we can brighten up your Fridays. We're not going to do In the Trenches this week. I'm going to introduce a quick little segment because this happened right before we started recording. Oh, no. I'm going to introduce a friend of the show and my close personal friend, Tony Khan. I'm going to call it Tony Watch. Now, he tweeted out some stuff about the ratings report that happened. AEW, NXT. I think that, we've talked the past a couple of weeks, like, with the pandemic, nobody cares about ratings anymore. You know what I mean? Like, everything is off. Some people aren't even watching live. They're watching a lot of delayed watch. Even though, it just seems like, NXT's been winning the past 3 weeks. Just
Yeah,
let's just say.
not that big of a deal.
So Tony Khan, he's an analytics guy. He's the analytics guy for Jacksonville Jaguars. Of course, NFL season. Fingers crossed for somebody like it's coming back. We'll see, because stuff is looking a little shaky. But he tweeted this out. Thank you to all who helped make FyterFest on AEW Dynamite a huge success these past 2 weeks, especially fans, wrestlers, and crew. We finished in top 7 for the 1849 demo the past 2 weeks. Last night, our best 8-34 audience since March. Number 2 last night, and 12 to 34 males as well. Like I said, he's a huge analytics nerd. This is wow.
Just one thing is just like, yeah, he's the analytics guy, right? But now he's only he's analytics guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's never really been AEW's analytics guy. But now that they lost, quote unquote, lost 3 weeks in a row, now he's analytics guy. Now he's doing all these numbers, and it's just like, nah, the man's unhinged.
Damn, unhinged.
The man losing it, bro. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And for the past 2 weeks now, Jericho, he did his little bit where he was, oh, we lost, but guess what? We got this demographic. Just taking the small victories. I guess that's how I took it. Just taking the small victories now. But now with Tony Khan coming out and doing the same thing, is just like, oh, you guys ain't got to do this twice. Let's not do this 2 weeks in a row. We don't need don't break down the demos so it looks good in your favor. Let's not do that.
I mean, if you look at the last 2 weeks for AEW, not too shabby. It's like 748. 715. NXT last 4 weeks 746, 786, 792.
It's not like NXT is blowing them out the water, so it's not like he has to go insane like this, or try to make his small victory seem huge, because there's been times before where NXT backed up and got a win and 1 week, and then AEW got a win next week. So it's like, we don't really have to do this. And now, when AEW was, blowing NXT out the water, we didn't see no bullshit like this. Now everybody is just a fan of pro wrestling. Screw the ratings. Like, now that NXT is winning, now we give up on the game. Like, this shit is childish.
Well, I think we said that we said screw the ratings when we first started the show. Like, we read them out first couple of weeks, and they were just like, okay, they're not really changing that much, because obviously AEW started with that 1.4 million on October 2nd last year, and then it went down to 957,000. Then it went down to the 800s, and of course the pandemic. Everybody's around, let's just say, average 750,000. That's where it is. And I mean, of course, Tony Khan, of course, he's the owner of AEW. If he wants to take pride in kind of winning demos and being up cool, like I said, he's huge analytics guy, and if you've seen any of his pressers, huge nerd for wrestling. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. You and I are nerds. You know what I mean? That. Yeah. So where you are, the RNC is pretty much, made up of nerds. But it's just yeah. Well, we're all nerds. But at the same time, it's just people will look at that and wow, you're going really out of your way to point certain demos, the 12 to 34 male range, and 18 to 49. Like it was
just bull. It's straight bullshit, bro. That's all it is, man.
it's just like Jericho. It's just him. It's just his shtick. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah,
coming from Tony,
and
it's just a little weird.
and
I'm
then
just
like with Jericho, you know, it was just like that resulted in some good banter. Then it completely went left with the Sammy Guevara thing. But like Sasha poked fun or whatever, and they did their they did their thing, and then it went left like I just said. But like now it's just like nobody's gonna come at Tony Khan, and this isn't gonna be fun banter. So it's like he's really just like screaming in the room, just be like, "But we won though," even though in overall viewers you didn't. So to me right now, like it wasn't even a bad ass whooping. Like you guys were probably like 100 short or like 200 short.
right there. Just
That's fine.
Right. You know what I mean? Like everybody,
You know?
nobody's breaking like in TV unless you're a show like let's say, Walking Dead and Netflix. They don't reveal any viewer data, so we don't know. But obviously, they would like stuff with like Netflix and like HBO Max. It would be higher because it's streaming. But any live TV is not going to do astronomical numbers. Like it's just the nature of the pandemic.
It's fucking wrestling. And then I'll just add like two more points, and I'll be done. It's just like we only really talk about ratings when NXT wins, but it's just like it's because NXT was getting their ass kicked, and then like now NXT is winning. Now AEW is like they're going buck wild, or they're sending shots, or they're just doing petty shit because they like lost 1 week, like they completely lose their shit, and then Tony Khan focusing on this one demographic. To me, that just reads that like, the ship is fine, like they're not gonna like try to do anything to change that, so it's just like I guess they're just gonna keep losing because clearly that the FyterFest, the 2 weeks of FyterFest, like this was supposed to be your big thing. You didn't do anything that captured anybody. So now that they just said, but we won this demo though, and it's just like, so you don't plan on doing any like I don't even want to say course correction, It's just like, do you want to probably like switch it up a bit or do something interesting that makes people want to watch the shows? Because like, yeah, you won this one demographic, but like,
well, I don't.
A loss is a
I'll-
loss in total viewers.
I'll say that I thought the second night of FyterFest was better, kind of better than the first. There are some questions I have, though. Well, this is my personal opinion. There's some definite questions that I have. We'll go into in a little bit. There's some choices that were made that like I'm kind of scratching my head on. But I mean, the whole ratings thing, like maybe it was cool when we did it when like WWE or WWF Raw's War and then WCW Nitro, when it was like a real ratings battle. That was like
when they were in the millions.
Well, it was like 5.0 and like versus 4.0 and people switching channels and things. I mean, it's cool to have some competition. I like that and stuff, but like I just think that like some wrestlers have tweeted out against like who cares about ratings. I think Joey Janela said it. Like I personally don't care. Like it's just
a lot of people don't care.
Yeah, people are just gonna watch the shows. Like if that's what he wants to do, cool. Like I said, like he's a numbers guy, but at the same time, it's just like mostly everybody who's watching stuff on Wednesday nights are watching both shows anyway. They might watch NXT first, and then they'll watch AEW on the replay, or they'll watch AEW first, and then they watch NXT on the replay. Like the reason why the numbers aren't changing is because everybody's drawn from the same audience. There's a lot of overlap. So when it comes to at the end of the day, like it's just who cares? Like just enjoy wrestling.
Yeah. it, yeah, for a while now, it's for us at least, it's just been like who put together the better show,
Yeah.
or like what show is more interesting. But now everybody is on the, well, let's just watch wrestling, let's just enjoy it for what it is. Now that like AEW's losing, but like last month you was two-stepping when AEW was blowing NXT out the water that one week where like NXT wasn't even top 50. Like the game, like the energy is different now. The game done changed, like it got flipped, and surely, like like let's say AEW wins next week, like the conversation is gonna shift again, where it's just like, yeah, NXT couldn't keep it up, and everybody cares about ratings again.
Listen, man, you can like both. Like I think one of FTR tweeted out, he's like, I loved like NWO, and then I loved parts of '97 WWF. You could like both. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like. You could like PlayStation and Xbox. I know that I'll probably be yelled at for saying that,
no, you can't.
but like,
no, you can't.
well, I have both, but I'm just saying, like, you can make a choice for yourself, and just whatever you choose is cool. Let's get into FyterFest Night 2.
What's in my hands, Tony, is something that I created decades ago. What's in my hands is something that basically is my full body of work. What's in my hands was created with my blood, my sweat, my tears. What's in my hands is the FTW World Championship.
There's some stuff, I will preface this, there's some stuff on here, like I said, that I liked.
I got some burning questions.
Okay. I will get to a couple points.
Okay.
Taz did the promo, Brian Cage, and he brought back the FTW Championship. I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, I used to watch ECW when he had it, when Shane Douglas was kind of ducking him, and that's why he brought the title. When I'm thinking in the match from Mox next week, I'm like, well, what the hell does this have to do with it? Like, what do you like? If he's going after, if he's going after the AEW World Title. And Taz is saying, he's the uncrowned champion. It's not like Mox is ducking him. Mox took a COVID test. Like, Renee had COVID, and he had to isolate himself. It's not like, Mox is really trying to duck him. And it's like, if he's going after the AEW championship, why call him the uncrowned champion and give him a belt? Like, then why are you even going after the championship then? Because you already have this belt. I don't even know what they're going to do. First off, there's two things. It's presumably like Mox is going to lose. I'm sorry. Mox is going to win. Mox is going to beat Brian Cage. So now he has a title belt. And two, are you actually going to defend this belt? Is it going to be a title that you can have in AEW and just kind of like pass around? I have no idea. So that I was kind of puzzled when they brought that out. I was like, great. It's cool that Taz still has the belt, but like, what is this doing for the product?
When Novak posted, Chris Novak, he posted a picture of the FTW championship, and he was just like, this is pretty cool. I don't know my history like that with Taz, so I was just like, "What's cool about it?" And then he said nothing. So I was just like, I didn't want to seem like a deadhead. I was just like, "Why is this cool?" Like, this is really just catering to like the backest of the rooms, So like this whole segment here, I was just like, this shit really doesn't matter. And I do agree. You're getting your title match anyway, so it's not like. You're still the uncrowned champion or whatever. So I thought this shit was really pointless. Like, it was to just get the pop for the people in the back. Hopefully they were loud enough, because this whole thing I just really didn't care, you know. Um, the whole Moxley is ducking him thing. AEW fans, or the people that are watching the show, knows what's going on with Moxley. AEW has not been shy about John Moxley's absence, so you didn't really have to do this. You could have just had your promo and just say that the match got rescheduled for next week, and then bar him up a bit. I didn't think the title really needed to be put into the picture, and it's just like, is Brian Cage going to be defending this title? Like, is this going to be in AEW canon or whatever? And somebody brought up an interesting point on the whole title thing. He was just like, oh man, I wonder if you wanted to understand the lineage of the FTW title, maybe you should pay the WWE network to find out. And it was just like, yeah, this kind of seems like an ass backwards kind of thing, if you ever wanted to see Taz at his prime with this sort of title or whatever, you would have to give WWE your money.
Taz owns the copyright to it. He owns the copyright and design of the title. It's just I get what you're saying though. Like, if he can't, like, you're introducing this championship, but at the same time, like, if you want to watch WrestlePalooza '98 or Living Dangerously, where before that, I believe like Taz and Sabu had a feud, from what I remember off the top of my head, where he lost it and then he got it back. You're gonna have to pay that $9.99 and watch it on WWE Network. Like, he can't mention anything. Well, he could mention stuff, but like at the same time, it would give credence to the other brand. On top of, like, now, like, is the FTW Heavyweight Championship going to be on the line? Is this now a champion versus champion match? Is Brian Cage just gonna have it? It's introducing stakes to a world title match that didn't really need stakes. Like, it's basically like Brian Cage and John Moxley for the world title. Now it's just like, all right, well, like, we know Brian Cage is going to lose somehow because he already has this title now. And I mean, we've been saying for weeks that, there's a lot of guys just hovering around on their roster that need something to fight for. It's cool. Okay, if you want to do the FTW Championship and have that where they could win and lose it, okay, that's cool. Not sure if they're really doing that, though. Like, if you just want to have it for a prop for this match to kind of prop Brian Cage up, he doesn't need that. Look at him. Like, look at how he's been destroying guys. Like, you haven't seen, like, when he came back, when he came in that ladder match, like, look how he destroyed, Darby Allin. You haven't seen Darby Allin since. Like, Darby Allin is skateboarding or not being able to get cleared. So I'm not sure what. It's just, to me, it lessens, like, the importance of the heavyweight title match that's happened for Fight for the Fallen. I just don't understand this choice.
It's really just to pop the people in the back of the crowd that knows the lineage of this title or know what the title is. But it's cool for that night. It won't be cool next week.
Well, we will see. I'm going to jump into their women's division here because that's another puzzling thing that I have to talk about. So there was a promo where Big Swole was coming to the arena, and they informed her that she's suspended for kidnapping Britt. Cool. I just like to mention that they have two women who are hurt. Like, you know what I mean? Chris Statlander and Britt Baker, even though Britt Baker, other than Hikaru Shida, has been the best in that women's division. Basically from promos, like, she's just entertaining. So, with Swole being, I guess, suspended, that takes another active wrestler off. Which, in a division that's already depleted, I don't understand why you would suspend her in kayfabe. Like, you need her wrestling.
Suspend her 2 weeks after she already did the crime.
Yeah, that's the same thing too. That's a good point there too. It's just like, oh well, like she already kidnapped Britt. She got away with it. I think she wrestled a match or something like that too. And then they were like, wait, whoa. You know what I mean? Like
She did that 2 weeks because last week she threw garbage on Britt Baker in her little plexiglass cage or whatever. Yeah, the stupid. I wouldn't have done that. I think I said it like a month ago now. Like, just stop having them really interact. You know, like if there's not going to be a match soon, then just stop. You know, like Big Swole could be facing the new girl that the new woman that they signed.
Abacon or
the creepy.
yeah.
Yeah, her, Allie, Anna Jay. Like they took her out of the picture too for Dark Order reasons, but she could come back already. It's not like anybody really goes through a dark transformation once they join. So it's just like you already took Anna Jay out the picture for Dark Order reasons, and now you took out Big Swole. Don't make no damn sense.
Well, it might be for Anna Jay. I'm not really sure, but it could be for COVID reasons because you can't really travel back and forth as much, and like depending on where Anna Jay is from, you know what I mean. Like these cases are spiking in a lot of places, so I'm not sure, but I'll go back to Hikaru Shida's tweets.
Actually, no, I don't like the that COVID shit. AEW testing, right? Then that shouldn't be an issue, right?
Hey, you know what? We could say the same thing for WWE. Over 40
that
positive tests.
Because guess what? Niggas ain't missing on NXT, so I ain't got to really raise the question.
They don't have... Okay, but at the same time, well, they don't have a full... They have everybody... Okay, so I'm trying to think of everybody on the show this week. They have Mercedes. They had, like... Okay. With NXT, what I believe is that a lot of people already live in Florida, and you damn sure can't go anywhere if you're living in Florida. There's with AEW, obviously their home base is in Florida, but from what I understand, like they have a lot of wrestlers who live all across the country. So for me, the logistics, I don't know. Like I would have to read up more on that. Like I said, I don't know where Anna Jay lives. I don't know.
I'm gonna say, well, and to that is, you remember when MJF was all the way in his house in Little New York or whatever up north? He was in the crowd this week. He's there.
Yeah, but here's the thing. In March, there was a good chunk of time where MJF wasn't there. Like they were. Mm-hmm. It was almost a month before we seen him. I mean, okay, so I'm gonna read the tweets from Hikaru Shida. Hold on. Okay. So Hikaru tweets out, many wrestlers can't fly to the US because of COVID-19 for months. 2 injured wrestlers and now Swole World. So Tony tweets back, Swole will be back with travel disruption with travel disrupting the division. We are searching for additional domestic challengers worthy of facing you to create more competition for you, champ. Thank you. And then Hikaru tweets like, we can't leave our women's division as like this. Come back soon, please, to Swole. And then Swole says, I will be stronger and think of many more ways to dispose trash. So, I mean,
it's all Tony. Travel issues.
Yeah, that's from Tony. That Tony says that like there's a lot of travel issues, which I could understand, and and with NXT and some of the main shows over in WWE, they have travel issues too. This is a wrestling wide thing. This is why I presumably like ROH isn't having any shows. That's why you don't see Jay White on like New Japan Pro Wrestling. They can't get over there. They can't get over there, and especially with how cases are spiking, like the EU. The EU
I don't even know where. I don't even know where Jay White stands.
Well, Well, I think he stays in the U.S. So, the EU just banned travel from, the U.S. to there. So, they have a huge hole in their women's division right now. Even though Nyla Rose wrestled and she squashed, I guess, 2 jobbers. But she said that she is looking for a manager, which I'm like,
I thought this was stupid.
well,
This was stupid. This was so stupid.
well, it's counterproductive for me because Nyla is obviously like she calls herself like the beast, or you know what I mean. She's runs roughshod over the division, and she's like everybody in AEW who has a manager basically has a championship, and then like her manager will ensure that she leaves AEW as the women's champion. I'm like, you were already the women's champion without one. Why do you need a manager to ensure that?
Yeah. Also, what she said isn't true. Moxley doesn't have a manager. Hangman Page and Kenny don't have a valet or a manager. Hikaru Shida doesn't have a. So only one person has it. Like, what are you saying? We can look at Sean Spears right now, who has a manager and isn't even on any of the shows. What are we doing here?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, Lance Archer, he doesn't have a title. He has a manager. So it's just like, this
it don't make no
promo
damn
did nothing
sense.
for her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm like, who would write that? Like, it was just like, Nyla Rose, who's already a champion.
A good talker.
Yeah, I think she's a great talker. But I'm like, all right, she needs a leg up to get the title back now. And she's already been, like, she's the second ever AEW Women's Champion. Like, I just didn't get that. Like, it makes the decisions
it's so dumb.
Well, it's just the decisions that they've made with Nyla Rose, I just don't get. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's supposed to be in that division. She's supposed to be the top heel. She's supposed to be the big heel. And now you're like, listen, I need a mouthpiece. Even though I'm cutting a good promo right now. Like, I need somebody to talk for me. And I need somebody to be in my corner because I can't do it by myself.
Sense. The only person that had a manager to get a championship is Cody. Like, yeah, like she said, like now Brian Cage is a champ. He didn't have to fight nobody for that. Taz literally just handed it to him. And also, you're saying that you need a manager to secure a championship. What happened to wins and losses? What happened to just rising up the leaderboards?
She's already the number 1 contender. As said,
what are we doing here?
I don't know. Like, those are, I had to get those out of the way because those 2 choices, I was just scratching my head. I'm like, what are you, like, going into Fight for the Fallen and trying to set up future challengers, like, especially with these belts and, like, putting in, like, I just did not get that. I'm like, why are you...
And what makes this whole promo really, really stupid is her saying that I'm like, I got a manager, but I ain't gonna tell you yet. And it's just like, what kind of announcement is this?
Who do we think the manager is?
I don't know. I'm not guessing. I don't care.
I'm gonna guess for the sake.
I don't
of the
care
show.
Enough to guess.
I'm gonna guess for the sake of the show. I'm gonna say Vicky Guerrero.
That was my first thought, but I'm just like, if you can't get Vicky Guerrero to come to the show, then what are we doing here? And they're really just prolonging the inevitable for Nyla Rose to, like, be a number 1 contender. Like, Nyla Rose is right there, well, she already number 1. But they haven't booked the match yet. Or,
they haven't. But they said it in our commentary that she's the number 1 contender. So presumably, like, they're gonna run it back with the rematch with her and Hikaru Shida.
And then she didn't need a manager to get there, but now she needs one.
No,
like,
no,
come on. It doesn't
I didn't.
make damn sense, man.
I mean, I didn't think so either. I mean, those were the two baffling things that I had. One bright spot, though, Private Party and Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. I think Private Party knocked off the ring rust, and they looked really good here. I think Kenny and Page.
I hope they can keep it up.
I think Kenny and Page gave them a lot, which was pretty good. A lot of aggression from Hangman Page. Like, well, there was one point where, I'm not sure if it was Cassidy or it was no. It was Quinn. So they're doing a move, and Quinn just kicks Hangman Page right in the face. Like, you could see, like, there was a imprint on Hangman Page, like, side of his face, just a huge red mark. Like, he does an insecure, and it just catches him. Thankfully, he was all right. If you wanted to basically get, Private Party back on track, that was the way you did it.
Yeah. Really good match. I'm glad that they looked really good in there because it was really looking shaky for them. Now I'm really just hoping they can keep it up. All right. I'm glad to see that they're at where they were at when AEW first started in October. So I hope they can keep this up for real.
Joey Janela and Lance Archer. That was not quite a squash match. Joey was bumping like hell for Archer. But it looked like, Joey was getting some offense. Like, Joey was like, could he do this? Had a Sunny Kiss sighting there, too. And a nice 450 splash. But Lance Archer won.
Yeah, I guess I'm glad he won, but I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, what are we gonna do with Lance Archer? Like, well, what are we gonna do with him now?
FTW belt, hopefully. I don't know. Well, hey, like, you brought Lance Archer in to be the Murder Hawk. You got to find something for him to do. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea. Like I said, he's in that kind of like the ilk of the guys who, like Lance Archer and Brody Lee, who are kind of like waiting for a big program, I think.
Well, they already blew the big program with Brody Lee, but yeah, I'm glad he won, but it's just like, what do we do now?
Yeah, I mean, Brody is obviously in that like kind of weird storyline with Colt Cabana, and they had like their 6-man tag. There was a lot of tags on this damn.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't a really big fan of the show. A lot of tag matches.
Yeah, there were a lot of multi-man tag matches too. AEW loves their multi-mans. It's just like they had Lucha Brothers.
They got to prove. They got to prove that they got the best tag division.
Well, I mean, when that's all you have. Well, I'm not saying that it's not all they have. It's just that they have.
This is not a pay-per-view level card.
Well, they have plentiful tag team matches, or tag teams in that division. Like, they have way too many, so you have to try to get them all on the card somehow. Like Lucha Brothers, Butcher and Blade, FTR, and the Young Bucks. It's from what I expected.
That was enough. Like that's why, like, last week I was just like, why is like Hangman Page and Kenny Omega fighting Private Party? Because we already have this big tag match happening. Like, I didn't really think it needed to be on the show, but I'm glad we got it though because the match was really nice. But
no, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it sowed the seeds for FTR and Young Bucks down the road. Obviously, what happened at the end. They're trying to slow burn that. And that's that was cool. And then, Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho.
I
wanted Orange Cassidy.
It was really cool. Oh, yeah. Orange. I definitely think Orange Cassidy should have won. I don't think Jericho really gains anything by winning here. But I thought the match was really, really good until like that point where Jericho was just kicking out of everything in like quick succession too. And I was just like, oh no, wrap it up, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna run this back. I think we're gonna end up seeing like part two
How?
with that. Like, well, I wouldn't mind to see it. Like, I just you don't have all this build up between those two, and then just be like, well, all right, we'll go on to the next thing. Run it back, have him win Orange Cassidy, maybe have like a rubber match, just to kind of make a prolonged feud. Because otherwise, I'm like, who is Jericho going to face afterwards? Like, I'm not sure.
That's why I'm just like Jericho probably should have lost. Like, let Orange Cassidy get this really big win here, and just take Jericho off the show for a little bit. He's not like I like him not being in the title picture. I'm just like, this could possibly be your chance to like put a young guy over more than just like having a 50-50 match with them.
I think. Well, I don't think that you can take Jericho off, because if you do, then Sammy Guevara is not there for the time being. So you got to have somebody anchor the inner circle, and he is, a big veteran presence for AEW. So like, he's a name. He's a name. He's definitely a name that people tune into. So you just can't be like, all right, we're gonna write him off television for a while. You gotta
no, I'm not saying like write him off, but like just take him off for like a week, or it's just like the only people that win in the inner circle is Jericho and Guevara is suspended for I forgot how long.
It's indefinitely.
Oh, indefinitely, until everybody forgets.
Well, I mean, like I said, like suspended. They donated his pay. He apologized. Sasha's talked about it. I mean, I'm just not sure. Like with that, I'm not sure what else more you can do. Like I'm not saying like. Yeah, like going back to it, like what he said was terrible and stuff like that. But like he's going through sensitivity training, and then like he presumably will come back. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about Sammy Guevara. And then just the thing about Jericho really anchoring in the inner circle, and it's just like it kind of doesn't have to be that way. Just let Pride and Powerful get a win, just one.
Oh, so I think that I'm just gonna decode it like you want. I don't think it's you want. I wouldn't say take Jericho off air. I think that more so what you want is for other people like Jake Hager and Brian Parr to get wins. But I don't think that you should.
Well, let them shine.
Yeah, but I don't think that you have to necessarily take Jericho off TV to do that. Like I think that you still can do that, but at the same time, like with the tag team division being so bloated, like you would have to get Pride and Powerful to like some quality wins and then build them up, because like right now at the top it's like Hangman Page and Omega, FTR and the Young Bucks, and that's going to be the program for a while. So, I'm not sure where Pride and Powerful is going to be in the mix. Maybe down the road, you never know. But next week,
yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yeah, Fight for the Fallen. Okay, the card is the Elite versus Jurassic Express, FTR versus the Lucha Brothers, Jon Moxley and Brian Cage for the AEW World Championship, and Cody is going to defend his TNT Championship against Sonny Kiss. Good for Sonny Kiss.
Yeah, this should be a good match, and
I'm glad they're finally featuring him more. I mean, I know that's something that we were asking, so like it's another thing that we've said, and I guess has come to fruition. But let's talk about NXT Great American Bash Night 2.
Super kick and another another one. Jacking the jaw of Keith Lee, the trifecta legal down. Adam Cole with the cover. Adam Cole still unable to vanquish Keith Lee. He's looking for another Panama Sunrise. This time countered by Keith Lee. Keith Lee with the Spirit Bomb.
Keith Lee isn't done yet.
Adam Cole is dead weight. Keith Lee can feel it. Keith Lee can taste it. Keith Lee with the big bang catastrophe. Keith Lee has made history. With the biggest moment of his career, bask in the glory of the first ever NXT champion and NXT North American champion simultaneously.
Get a dream, hold on to it, and shoot for the sky. The dream is a reality.
Working on Scarlett and Karrion Kross.
When it comes to Keith Lee, when he dreams it, he becomes it.
Obviously, the big story here is that Keith Lee is your champ, your double champ, NXT North American title, NXT championship. I think that it couldn't have happened better to a better person. Like, if Adam Cole would have won it, cool, like, he deserves it. But Keith Lee, like, from basically where he was in NXT, where he was just losing, taking a lot of L's, and then he cut that promo and saying, like, this year was going to be my year. God damn it, he was right.
Mm-hmm.
He completely turned it around. There's matches with Dom and basically like the big, War Games Royal Rumble weekend where he, went head to head with Roman Reigns and then Brock Lesnar. Then we all started fantasy booking, and then like him winning the North American title and having all these incredible matches with Roderick Strong, Johnny Gargano, and then now here he's your champ. Like I'm proud of him. I think that.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Just his run from November has been nothing but success, and it's really good to see.
No, I mean, I think you could say that from a lot of people in NXT. Like Adam Cole's run from November on, amazing. Keith Lee, up until a point, Rhea Ripley. Even though I don't really know what happened to
that shit stopped that Mania.
Yeah. Other than, I'm trying to think, Bianca Belair, when we talked about her, like the Royal Rumble eliminations, even though I'm, not really sure what Raw is doing with her. Hopefully they bring her back into the fold soon. But yeah, like Keith, like some people had a problem. Like I would say that I had an issue because I'm like, all right, man, like why are you putting two belts on like one person? But I can't be a hypocrite because I love Naito. Naito's a double champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling, even though it had a little story with it. And when Keith Lee winning this, I was just like, all right, cool, man. Like, that's so dope. Like, it's dope that we saw Io Shirai win because we were rooting, everybody was rooting for her. And now Keith Lee, like, it's like NXT has hit its stride and it's given us really good feel good stories. Now, if they could get their tag team division, a men's tag team division together, that'd be cool. But like, I'm way to go, Keith Lee. Now I want to switch. I'll talk about the street fight. Mia Yim fighting in Tim's. Like, more power to her. Because I don't know how she does it.
Hey, Mia Yim loves her Tims, bro.
Bro, I just don't like. There was a spot where like they teased like the suplex on the table outside, and then she does like the drop kick into like Candice into the table. Candice missed the table, and she got drop kicked and getting kicked by Tim.
Like bumped her head against that door. Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole
bumped her head on
commercial
that door. Asked it to God in Tim's.
So that whole commercial break, or like the whole split screen, was basically Candice trying to get up from that bump.
I thought it was really cool that a lot of the show had nothing but picture in picture, even like with nothing really going on, or like the picture in picture where like the match finished and like Johnny came out and to like escort Candice out. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that wild ride off the table, off the table into the pile of chairs. That was pretty cool. That was
When
pretty cool
I
thing.
initially saw her setting up that table that way, I was just like, "What the hell are y'all doing?" I was just like, "How are you like? How is this like gonna work?" And they made it work. I thought doing a swinging neck breaker onto the pile of chairs is much cooler than doing like a superplex off it.
Yeah,
You know?
I think we've seen the superplex onto the chair spot like a lot. Like swinging net breaker was a nice little change of pace.
Yeah.
To switch, Mercedes Martinez finally like re-debuted after like weeks of vignettes. What'd you think about her? Like, I guess this was squash. Poor Santana Garrett.
I would have liked it more if it wasn't Santana Garrett. I wish it was Aaliyah, or they tried to do some stuff with the Rob Stone brand. Just like with Santana Garrett, I don't really I don't think she does much enhancing when people face up against her.
Seems like everybody's really down on Santana, and I have seen her matches, I guess, from Shimmer and like from overseas and stuff like that. She's actually not. She's actually decent. It's just that like it's, they showcase her in NXT as getting these squash matches. I'm like, you're not really. It's weird to kind of like place her in that way, but then again, we've seen in NXT where they'll have wrestlers who like get into these squash matches and then they'll repackage to to do like to be more of a featured talent. So maybe they do that with Santana, but like Mercedes being a big heel, I'm all for it. I think Mercedes like will add a lot to NXT in that division. She's a good veteran presence.
Yeah.
Like I'm all for it. Like what you alluded to is that the Rob Stone brand went on recruiting spree, and it looks like they were trying to get Shotzi Blackheart, but she wasn't having that, and Killian Dane wasn't having that either.
Man, just let's stop with the Killian Dane shit, bro. Please, can we stop doing this? When the shot, this possibly is going to lead to a Shotzi Blackheart, Killian Dane versus the Rob Stone brand tag match, and I don't want to see it. I just don't. Like, Shotzi Blackheart could really be doing like more interesting things.
I think. Well, you got to keep Shotzi occupied while they, Tegan and Io have their thing.
I think there's possibly a better way to go about that.
All right, so what would you propose?
Like if you're a heel versus face like thing, I guess it'll like sound awful to you, but like maybe we can get a Rhea Ripley versus Shotzi Blackheart, probably Mercedes Martinez, or just Aaliyah. Like we don't have to really do the Killian. Get Killian Dane involved. We can get her and Candice. Like,
all right, so
there's possibilities out there.
If you do Rhea and Shotzi, who goes over? Because
Shotzi, I don't give a shit about Rhea.
Well, how are you going to do that to like? Are you going to bury Rhea now? Because like Rhea is a former champ.
I mean,
Like,
what the hell? What the hell are you doing? I mean, Shotzi can lose. Like, I'm sure it's no problem, but I don't really see them doing. I don't know. They're like cooling Rhea off a lot.
yeah,
Or
like,
if they wanted, like, just do a losing angle, just beat Rhea, and then she comes back on top, then it won't be no issue for Shotzi Blackheart to go over.
I feel like the best way is like Shotzi versus Aaliyah. I'm not saying that like Killian Day, that might just have been a random thing. I think they're just gonna do Shotzi and Aaliyah.
I hope so.
Because like if you have Shotzi go against Mercedes Martinez, Mercedes is gonna win. Like they're not building Mercedes up.
They ain't gonna do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mercedes up for her to like all of a sudden like
Lose in
Shotzi.
week 2? Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
like that's. I don't think that's gonna happen. Like Shotzi, I think, is the future big face for that division. When eventually when you move Tegan on, and then like maybe EO.
Well,
but-
Still, Candice LeRae is right there. And she just wrapped up her thing with Mia Yim. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, like Candice alluded to like having some payback on some people, so it could be, Shotzi could be a pathway for her.
yeah. I don't really. I'm curious to know who's on Candice's hit list. Because
Could be Tegan. Because the whole like, you were like my big sister
backstabbing
thing,
friend,
and
yeah.
the backstabbing friend.
does it stop there?
No, I don't think so. Like I would put Shotzi on it because like I think they would have a nice little feud. Maybe Rhea.
Would Rhea be on that list? Because I don't know if what has Rhea done to Candice besides like you're on the War Games team.
EO would definitely be on that list.
Well, EO busy, Bray.
Well, EO's gonna need challengers. So like, if you're building Candice to be like a big heel, like other than Dakota, like EO's on that list. They have history because when Candice tried to help EO turned on her. So that's a pathway for them right there. Speaking of Candice, her husband had a fight with Isaiah Swerve Scott, which I thought, just for me, was the match of the night. I thought that they worked really well together. I was looking forward to this match. Yeah, Johnny Gargano with the win. I think that even in defeat, Swerve looked great. I would love...
Yeah.
Johnny is setting his sights on Finn Balor, it looks like.
I don't really want to see that again.
If Johnny's gonna, him and Candice are gonna fulfill the prophecy of being the first couple winning the championships together, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that's just a sight that they set. I think it's more inclined for Candice to win the women's championship other than Johnny winning it again, but I have no idea. But yeah, good match here. Let's see. Of course, there was Breezango and Drake Maverick versus Legado de Fantasma. So when Fandango does like the I guess like the somersault off the ropes and landed on his knee, I cringed. I was like, oh no.
That looked really bad.
I was like, I'm hoping he didn't hurt himself again. Because of course he had the MCL injury. And like he landed off it. I was like, oh Jesus.
It might have been a work because they do really work the knee. Mendoza really works the knee for a little bit, and then before Fandango counters and do all that stuff. This would probably be like my least favorite match on the card, with it being a 6-man tag. But I
Well,
I don't
because you
think
saw
it ends here for them.
Well, because you saw like an AEW show that had a ton of tags, so I understand.
I'm curious to know when Drake Maverick and Santana Escobar is going to have their singles match.
I think that it was if there was one thing that this match did, it was good foreshadowing to like Drake Maverick and Mendoza thing. Like Maverick does like the whole flurry, and then like Mendoza takes of course Drake's neck is hurt and he takes advantage and he gets the pin. They're really positioning Drake Maverick to be like that scrappy face underdog. So like they're gonna do it there. I think it's gonna be real down the line because Mendoza's like the real cruiserweight champion, and now can we say that? Like let's just say with recent alleged events and travel bans and stuff like that, Jordan Devlin's not going to be seen for quite a while, if ever.
Yeah, especially if Florida keeps this up. So, I mean, Santana might as well just be our cruiserweight champion.
Oh no, he is basically like you know what I mean. Like
ain't no more interim.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I'm like we should probably take the interim off Mendoza. It's like not looking good for Drake. Given things that happened and like I said, like travel, but I really like Mendoza as the champ. I hope like you've had long cruiserweight reigns, but then you had some short ones. Like I really hope that they keep the belt on him for a long time, and don't necessarily give it to Drake, because I know like they'll do like the comeback story of Drake like overcoming the odds, and he'll face like each person in Legado del Fantasma. He'll beat them. He'll go to Mendoza and then beat them and beat him for the title. Like that's how they book. But I hope that doesn't happen soon. Like let's just cool off.
They could prolong this, honestly, or they can like. Let's say that Drake, is nursing and like, his neck is really hurt and he's not medically clear, and then you could possibly like have some sort of challenger in the meantime, and then eventually have him come back.
So before we get out of here, who do you think? I'll pose a final question, and I think next week we'll do like our mid-award show, because we had 2 big weeks of, I guess, pay-per-views. And then like, I guess NXT, AEW has a pay-per-view, kinda. This is kind of a pay-per-view. But yeah, we'll do like our award show next week. We'll ask questions. We'll ask questions from like the listeners, and they'll chime in too. So what do you think with Keith Lee? Who do you think is going to challenge for the NXT championship, and who's going to challenge for the North American title? The next big challenges.
I think Karrion Kross definitely has his eye on the NXT championship title. Like that's what he's really aiming for. But I guess they'll possibly do something about that with Damian Priest and Cameron Grimes having a number 1 contenders match. Maybe he'll insert himself into that, like kind of people thought he would insert himself into the Adam Cole and Keith Lee champion versus champion match. So we'll see. I mean, excuse me, I'm yawning. If Gargano wants to get his payback on Finn Balor, or they want to do that, then I won't say Finn Balor. Then possibly give who's a male wrestler? That's possibly Tim Thatcher.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind seeing him challenge for the North American.
Tim Thatcher and Keith Lee, I think that would be a phenomenal match.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you with the NXT Championship. I'm going to go with Karrion Kross. And I like what you just posed there. I would love to see Tim Thatcher go after the North American title. It would kind of then he would kind of like do the whole Walter thing, and it's like, oh, now the North American title has like some prestige to it. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm not American or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
So
No, I really wouldn't mind seeing that.
yeah. So next week, it's another big week because you have Tegan Knox, Io Shirai.
Can't wait.
That should be a great match. And then you also have Damian Priest and Cameron Grimes. Presumably that is for the number one contendership. So like, whoever wins Damian Priest, Cameron Grimes, they will go after Keith Lee for the NXT Championship. Any last words before we get out of here?
I hope Fight for actually I think Fight for the Fallen coming like right after we just did FyterFest is a little weird. I'm not gonna lie.
It seems like they are
Like,
tacking it on. I would say.
Yeah, I would say due to the championship match being like moved, they had to like make it seem bigger, even though they had championship title matches on random Dynamites before. I didn't really think they needed to do the Fight for the Fallen thing. Fight for the Fallen. Oh, I feel it feels bad to call it a gimmick, but is FyterFest gonna? I mean, Fight for the Fallen. All these Fs. Is Fight for the Fallen gonna also do the donation thing?
I've not. Yes, it's a fundraiser for COVID relief.
Okay. Oh, COVID relief this time. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Especially in a state that needs COVID relief right now. Like, I think that is very timely.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Come back next week.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Come back next week. We're going to have our award show, mid-award show. Best wrestlers, worst angles, yada, yada, yada. Look at our RNC Radio Live Twitter because we'll be posing questions for you guys to answer and we'll read them on air. Of course, we will be talking about Fight for the Fallen. We've got 2 big title matches. We got Brian Cage and Jon Moxley. We got Sonny Kiss and Cody. Of course, then we'll see, the whole elite rigmarole, whatever happens with that. And over at NXT, Tegan and Io. Maybe this is Tegan's swan song, maybe on the brand. I don't know.
I hope so.
Well, listen, like Raw. Well, just being impartial, I would love to see her on SmackDown and fight Bayley because I know that she would love that.
Mm-hmm.
But Bayley and Sasha are a little bit preoccupied right now. They got the Kabuki Warriors to worry about.
And the Raw landscape isn't really that like spooky anymore, so I wouldn't mind seeing Tegan over there either.
Tegan versus Asuka. Damn, I didn't even think
Tegan versus Natalia. Hold on, bro. Tegan versus Natalia, bro. What is you thinking?
What is this like?
That's the real money match.
What is this, like the intro to career mode? Tegan knocks out to like.
You gotta earn it, bro.
She's gotta earn her stripes.
Yeah. Don't forget Tegan versus wow, I forgot her name. It was on the tip of my tongue. Ruby Riott. Like, let's not forget that.
Oh, come on, man. Let's give Ruby Riott some wins. Give her some wins. No,
hey man,
Tegan Knox versus Liv Morgan is the money match that you should be looking for.
Well, I'm just glad that Ruby Riott is back on the show because Paul, the Heyman never really had Ruby Riott looking silly, but yeah, man, the Raw landscape isn't that bad, and I think Bruce is doing a pretty good job for the most part. I was scared at first, but he's doing some cool shit.
Very scared.
I wouldn't mind seeing Tegan over there.
Yeah, I was very scared at first, but
yeah.
Bruce is doing a good job. Hey, some wrestlers who were missing in action all of a sudden appearing again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, wow, like they're still working and employed in WWE. So good on Bruce. So for myself and Cyrus, this is the War Report. Come back next week. Be safe. Wear a mask. I'm not really. It seems like something happens crazy each week as we do on here, but we're thankful for you for listening. As always, follow us on RC Live on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to all our channels or whatever you and wherever you listen to podcasts. For us, signing off. Be safe, and we'll talk to you next week.